Columbus, Ohio. Today we're getting into it. The things I love and the things I hate about living in Columbus. Coming up next. Hi, I'm ERIN Moore with the Moore Home Team at REALTY here in Columbus, Ohio. Today we're going to get into those things that I love and those things that I hate about living in Columbus. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the list. We're going to get started with those things that I hate about living in Columbus. And coming in number one is the crazy weather. Yes, we have all 4 seasons here in Columbus, but it honestly can get way more complicated than that. As I'm filming this video, it's cold and it's in the 20s outside. A few days ago, it was windy and rainy, but in the 50s. And then early at the beginning of the week, it was actually pretty nice and it hit around 60 degrees. So you can always find funny memes about the weather here in Ohio. A lot of people make fun of it because you can experience sometimes all 4 seasons in one day. But we do laugh when we talk to people in the South and they're like, oh my gosh, it's 60 degrees here today. It's so cold. Here when it's 60 degrees, people start whipping out the shorts. You'll see people in shorts or some sort of mix of like shorts and sweatshirts. You know, it might sound crazy after you see that, but after experiencing the weather here in Columbus, you might start to change your mind. I suggest always looking at the forecast a day ahead, and layering is our best friend. We love layers here because as things might warm up throughout the day, you can take those layers off and be more comfortable. So layering is definitely a key. But luckily here in Columbus, our springs, summers, and falls are usually pretty nice, and we really enjoy those times of the year. Now, number 2 is flights in and out of Columbus. I don't know about you, but John and I, we love to travel, but we find it really hard to get direct flights in and out of Columbus for many locations. You know, if you're flying to Europe or overseas, we've experienced 2 to 3 connections. Now, flying to the Caribbean, we've experienced usually around 1 connection. Now, if you're wanting to get to your destination early or like by midday, you're gonna have to get up in the middle of the night. A lot of times that first flight out is around 6 a.m., so you've got to be there bright and early. But it does get you to your destination a little bit earlier, especially if you have a connection. Now, last year we did travel to Las Vegas and we were able to get a direct flight there. And there have been other places that we've gone, usually like 4 to 5 hour flight times from Columbus, where we've had nonstop or direct flights. So don't think that getting a direct flight's impossible. We do have friends that also are able to get direct flights in the winter times to places like Cancun. So it's not impossible to get a nonstop flight, but it can sometimes depend on the time of the year. So luckily, Columbus keeps getting better and keeps adding more nonstop flights, which makes us happy and should make you happy if you love to travel. Now, the number 3 thing that I hate about living in Columbus is the lack of transit. And I think this is on everybody's hate or con list. It always shows up. We all wish we had public transit. It would be nice to cut down on driving, especially as the gas prices are starting to go up. Now, there have been talks, you know, in proposals, and over the years, there have been grants as well, but nothing has quite come to fruition yet. There are still talks and have been talks about having a train that would go from like Cleveland and Columbus and Cincinnati and kind of tie in all the Midwestern cities. And to me, it would be amazing to be able to hop on a train and go to a place like Cleveland or Cincinnati for the day, or someplace like Chicago or Indianapolis for the weekend. So hopefully, fingers crossed, as Columbus keeps growing and as the demand is there, hopefully we'll have some sort of transit sooner rather than later so we can start enjoying more of the city and have that ease of getting around. And plus enjoy maybe even more of the state of Ohio and being able to just jump on and off a train to get to places a little bit easier. Now, luckily, since we do have to drive, our traffic really isn't that bad compared to most big cities. And we tend to do, at least in my opinion, have ample parking. Most places that I've gone to, there's been plenty of parking, either garages or meters or lots that you can park in. Now, number 4, downtown Columbus. And this could be an unpopular opinion. You'll have to let me know in the comments below. But I find that unless there's like a concert, a hockey game, a convention, something big going on in downtown Columbus, that it can be rather dead. Now, there are a lot of fun bars, breweries, restaurants spread out throughout the downtown area, but you'll also find a lot of different bars and restaurants and places that maybe are open during the day, during business hours when people are at work, but they're shut down if you're going out at night. Luckily, there are places all over town, though, that you can go to that have active nightlife. Like there's the Short North, just north of downtown. There's Franklinton that's becoming more popular with breweries and restaurants. And then, of course, we always have on the east side of town, Easton Town Center. And then in Dublin, we have the Newer Bridge Park area that's so much fun. We're getting to number 5, which is lack of housing inventory. So this one should be absolutely no secret by now that the housing inventory in Columbus is low. The start of 2022 has seen historic lows in the inventory, but luckily if you do own a home already, we're not seeing any signs of like any bubble bursting or any troubles in sight. We're seeing quite the opposite. We're seeing a lot of people moving to Columbus. We're seeing a lot of outside investors who are coming into the Columbus market and are keeping the values, driving them actually up. So if you're looking to buy, suggestions, make sure to save as much money as possible. Speak to a lender, work with a realtor who can help you stay in the know, structure your offers, and keep your offers as competitive as possible. If you're enjoying this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Also make sure to subscribe. Stay in the know of everything Columbus, its suburbs, and real estate. Now let's get back to the list. Now let's get into the things I love about living in Columbus. Number 1 is that it's a big city. So I grew up in a small town, and what I like so much about Columbus is that it is a big city. Growing up in a small town, I personally didn't like that everybody seemed to know everybody else's business, or that no matter where you went to, whether it was the grocery store, the mall, or going out to eat, you always ran into somebody that you knew. Sometimes it would turn into lengthy conversations. But now I'm not saying that you won't run into anybody here in the Columbus area. After being here for 18 years, I find that occasionally I do run into people as I'm out and about. I've gotten to know a lot of people over that time frame. But I found that overall, it's easy to retain some privacy being in the Columbus area and being in the bigger city. So number 2 is restaurants and breweries. And this might be my favorite thing about Columbus. We have over 50 craft breweries in and around the Columbus area. You can get a book from one of the participating Columbus breweries to do the Columbus Ale Trail. It's a lot of fun. A lot of people go to the breweries, get this passport stamped, and it's a great way to check out different parts of town too. And then when it comes to restaurants, there are so many to choose from at various price points. And there's actually quite a diverse selection. I've heard from other people that have moved from out of town how surprised they are by the diverse selection of restaurants. And each part of the city actually has so many places to choose from. It's easy, at least I think so, to forget about places or to find the time to get to try some of the new restaurants that are opening up in town. It seems like there's one popping up every week. So there's definitely something for everyone here in the Columbus area. So number 3 is cost of living. So the prices in Columbus have definitely risen over the years. And if you've lived in Columbus for a long time, you've definitely noticed it. And you've said so. I've heard the comments. But compared to other big cities, living in Columbus remains relatively low. It's actually around 7.5% lower than the national average. And get this, it's a whopping 53% cheaper than living in New York City. So it's no wonder why we hear from so many people wanting to move to the Columbus area from these big states, from these expensive cities. And it's no wonder that we have so many corporations wanting to come to Columbus as well. Now, number 4 thing that I love about Columbus is the healthcare. And this is one of those things that you may not think about or really appreciate until you actually need it. Columbus has amazing hospitals and healthcare. It seems like there's a really great hospital in all parts of the city. When I found myself diagnosed with breast cancer in 2020, I was not sure what to expect. I had no idea what the healthcare was going to be like. But I have to say, I have been so pleased by all of the doctors, by all of the medical professionals that I've come in contact and who have helped me. And a shout out to those that have at Ohio Health. They have been excellent. So we also have places like the Ohio State University, Wexner Medical Center, and the James Cancer Hospital. That's just to name a few. And then we can't forget the kids, Nationwide Children's Hospital. We have one of the best children's hospital in the entire world, and they really have treated patients from all over the world. So the 5th thing that I love about Columbus is the people. And I think this is also on a lot of people's like pros or love lists. Overall, Columbus is seen as friendly. It's not uncommon to move here, especially if you're in a neighborhood. You might make friends with those neighbors. You know, your neighbors might have parties, stop over to say hi, you stop over to have a drink, get together for drinks or dinner. You know, people tend to smile or say hi as you walk by. Now, when I was in the corporate world, we used to get in trouble for holding doors open for people. That actually was a big no-no due to security reasons. But here, people are so friendly that they hold the door open so it doesn't smack and close on you. So people also here that I find are very proud of their city, proud of living in Columbus, proud of our sports teams. And people here, if you say something negative about Columbus, they tend to stand up for their city. Hopefully you found this list interesting. Check out another video about Columbus right here. If you're looking to buy or sell in the Columbus area, text, email, call us. You can also comment below. We would love to hear from you, and we're always here to help. Remember, we've got you covered when moving to Columbus. We'll see you next time.